Now before we get into the tutorial, I have two announcements to make. The first announcement is that I'm going to try my best to have a DIY tutorial for you guys every 2 weeks, okay? But in order for me to have these tutorials ready for you guys, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need you to leave me comments or send me a message and let me know what kind of tutorials you guys want to see. Boom! That's the first announcement. Then, the second announcement is that I'm going to be incorporating commercials into my videos, really short commercials, to really just promote and highlight wonderful creators and business people who have brands and products that they would really like to just get out there into the realm, into the world. If you'd like to have your product or your brand sponsored in one of my commercials, just send me your information. Send me a little bit of information about yourself, about your product, about your brand, as well as a sample of whatever it is that you are selling, okay? And you can send all of that information to my email address, which is SHANiA@gmail.com. All of that information will be down below in the description box. So for today's tutorial, we're going to be making this super cute DIY tie-back crop top. So it looks like a normal crop top in the front, and then when you get to the back, you're like, damn, Daniel. No, really though. When you get to the back, it's really cute and really sexy and really sultry with its low tie back. Okay, so let's get into it.
For this tutorial, you're gonna need fabric, scissors, measuring tape, pins, fabric marker, and a crop top to trace. So the first thing you want to do is fold your fabric in half and make sure that it's inside out when you have folded it. Then you want to take your crop top and you want to fold that in half as well. Now if you don't have a crop top, you can use a regular tank top and just kind of estimate where it would be a crop top. So fold it in half and place it down on your fabric, and you're not going to line it up with the fold of your fabric. You're going to line it up with the edge of your fabric, and you want to make sure that when you lie it down on your fabric, you want to leave space on the side and on the bottom so that you can include your seam allowance line. So make sure everything is in place, and you want to make sure that you arrange your top so that when you trace it, you're actually just tracing the front part of the top rather than the bottom. So if you need to tuck something in, feel free to do that. And then you want to trace it, but just on the outer edges. The next thing you want to do is measure the bottom line of your pattern that you just traced on your fabric. In my case, mine came out to be 7 inches. So you want to draw another line connecting from where this line ended. That's also the same measurement. So your total line at the end should be 14 inches. 7 plus 7 is 14. Make sure that your line is straight when you're drawing it on your fabric. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to start from where the armpit is, and you want to take your measuring tape and you want to line it up as straight as you can get it. It doesn't matter if it's not extremely straight. And then you want to go about 1.5 inches in from where the curve is of your pattern and make a mark. And this is going to help you decide how low the back of your shirt will come. Then you want to connect where the start of your curve is to the mark that you just made. And you're basically going to be creating a new curve when you connect the mark and the line. From this mark, you want to draw another line that connects down to the horizontal line, which is the bottom of the crop top. When you're finished, it should look something like this. After that, you want to pin down both layers, make sure that everything is straight on both layers, and then you want to cut around the pattern about 1/2 inch. Now, if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can go ahead and draw a 1/2 inch line all around the pattern. But if you are a pro like me, I'm kidding. If you trust yourself, then you can just freehand it and cut a 1/2 inch line around the pattern without drawing the line first. Then you should have 2 pattern pieces like this.
This lovely t-shirt that I'm wearing here was purchased from the JuJuStile brand. And JuJuStile brand is basically a brand that focuses on African fashion. So it really incorporates a lot of like bright colors, geometric shapes and patterns, and like Ankara fabric. So you can buy one of the t-shirts from the collection by just going to her Etsy shop. That information will be down below in the description box.
The next thing you want to do is make the front of your shirt. To do that, you want to fold your fabric in half, make sure that it's inside out, and then you want to take that previous pattern that you just cut and you want to fold it in half. You'll know that it's in half once that point, basically that like little sharp pointy part, touches the side of the pattern, so where the side of your shirt will be. Okay, so it should look something like that, like kind of like a little triangle at the bottom. It should look something like this. Then what you want to do is put this folded pattern on top of the folded fabric, and then you want to trace it the way that it is, and then later we're going to go back and adjust the neckline so that we have a sort of kind of boat neck. The next thing you want to do in order to make the neckline, you want to measure about 1 inch down, bring it across an imaginary line, and then make like a 1/2 inch line at that 1 inch mark. And then you want to draw a line from the top of where the shoulder will be, and you want to connect it from here down to that 1/2 inch line that you just drew. And then from there, just kind of freehand a curve. So remember that the deeper the curve is, the lower your neckline will be. And you also have to remember that this line, we're going to assume, includes the seam allowance. Okay? Then you want to cut it out, and it should look something like this once you open it up. Now remember that the pattern that we just traced in order to get this pattern we have here already included the seam allowance lines. So you want to just add the seam allowance lines to the inside of this pattern right here. And it's going to help you with hemming. You also want to transfer the seam allowance lines to the previous patterns that we made for the back part of the shirt. So it should look something like this. Now you want to hem the back line of the shirt. So you're not going to worry about the side and the armhole, just this part here. So fold it over and then sew along it. I recommend that you do a zigzag stitch if you're working with cotton fabric. And you want to do the same thing with the other side, the other flap. So fold it and then sew all around. Don't worry about the armhole or the side yet. So it should look something like this. So starting with the front part of the shirt, you want to put it so that the right side of the shirt is facing up. So your seam allowance line should be down. Then you want to take the back of the shirt and make sure that the right side of the back of the shirt is facing the right side of the front of the shirt. And you want to make sure that they're lined up along the edges, the side of the shirt. You want to pin down near the top of the shoulders and the sides.
Step 1, hem the sides. Step 2, hem the shoulders. Step 3, hem the bottom of all 3 layers. Step 4, hem the neckline. Alright?
To make the sleeve, you want to fold the fabric in half and make sure it's inside out. You want to put your shirt on the folded fabric and trace the curve of your armhole. Then you want to take a sleeve of a shirt that you already have and you want to trace it. If you don't have a short sleeve shirt, use a long sleeve shirt and fold it the way that I did. If it's too long, you can always adjust it. It's better longer than shorter. Then you want to make sure that the armhole of the sleeve lines up exactly with the armhole that you just drew on the fabric. Then you want to trace the sleeve as it is. So you see there's a sort of gap between the sleeve of the shirt and where the fabric is. You don't want to trace your sleeve going down. You just want to trace from the bottom of your sleeve just straight up. So as you can see with my sleeve, I had to do a little bit of an adjustment by drawing an extra line. So if you end up tracing a shirt that's bigger, just make sure that the bottom of your sleeve meets the end of the armhole. So now you want to pin down the sleeve pattern and add seam allowance to the left, the right, and the bottom of the pattern, but not at the top of the pattern where the fold is. Cut out the pattern and trace it to make a second sleeve. Once you have your two sleeves, it should look like this. And then what you want to do is just make sure that you copy the seam allowance lines on the front and the back of both patterns. So they should be on both sides. And then you want to sew just the bottom of both sleeves.
Okay, so after you've sewn your sleeves, it should look like this basically, okay? And you want to do the same thing with both sleeves. Then you want to attach your sleeve to your shirt so that it looks like this. Take your shirt and you want to turn it inside out. Turn your shirt inside out, and you want to take your sleeve and make sure that your sleeve is on the right side. Then you want to take the right side of the sleeve and put it inside the armhole, okay? So it should go like this, still on the right side. And you want to take this bottom part of where the sleeve is, and you want to match it up with the bottom part of the armhole, okay? Still with the sleeve inside. So match it up like so. And you want to pin it, okay? And then you want to, from this part, you just want to go all around the armhole and just pin the sleeve to the armhole together, okay? But it's important to start with that seam line because it helps to make sure that everything is in place, because you don't want to have the seams not matching up. When you're done, it should look like this, okay? And you just want to go ahead and sew all the way around, okay? And when you're done, do a top stitch, and that will be it. And then the final part is to try your shirt on and make sure that your sleeves are okay. And then you can, while you're trying your shirt on, you can just decide how far in you need to hem the sleeve of your shirt, and then turn it inside out, like we already have our shirt inside out, and then just hem it down, okay? And that is basically it, okay? So let's go ahead and do it.